In the dead of a Baltimore night, at 2:14 a.m., a piercing siren shattered the silence of Clara Thompson's modest apartment. A black female firefighter, Clara was no stranger to chaos. But this call felt different, urgent, heavy with stakes she couldn't yet name. As she yanked on her gear, the weight of her role pressed against her. A woman of color in a field dominated by white men, her every move scrutinized. Tonight, she'd face more than flames. A confrontation with a prejudiced cop, unaware his own home was ablaze, would ignite a firestorm of justice that would change their city forever. Clara's firehouse buzzed with controlled frenzy. Her crew chief, Tom Harris, gave her a notice-silent vote of confidence. The truck roared through empty streets, orange streetlights flickering on wet asphalt. The radio crackled, a residential fire in a wealthy neighborhood, heavy smoke, multiple units needed. Clara steeled herself. She knew these scenes, flames dancing wildly, lives hanging in the balance. But nothing prepared her for what awaited. At the scene, fire devoured a row of elegant homes, embers glowing like malevolent stars. Clara leaped from the truck, hose in hand, her focus razor-sharp. Protect, extinguish, save. A crowd of shaken residents huddled nearby, their faces lit by the inferno's glow. Then she saw him, Officer Daniel Brooks, a cop notorious among her crew for his sharp tongue and sharper biases. His cold stare locked onto her, and Clara felt the familiar sting of being judged before she'd even begun. Brooks stepped into her path, arms crossed. "Hold it," he barked, his voice dripping with skepticism. "Who's in charge here?" Clara's grip tightened on the hose. "I am," she shot back, her breath ragged. "Homes are burning, officer. Let us through." But Brooks didn't budge, his authority a wall between her and the blaze. "I'm running this scene," he sneered, as if her presence, her competence was an affront. Seconds ticked by, each one a thief stealing lives from the fire's grasp. The flames roared louder, a mocking chorus to their standoff. Clara's patience, honed by years of navigating such dismissals, frayed. "Lives are at stake," she said, her voice steady but fierce. "Can you live with that on your conscience?" Brooks hesitated, his eyes flickering to the inferno. The crowd murmured, their whispers a growing tide of unease. Then Tom's voice cut through. "Stand down, Brooks." The crew chief strode forward, his weathered face unyielding. "Let her do her job." Brooks spat to the side, a hollow gesture, but stepped back. Clara surged forward, her team fanning out with hoses, water arcing into the blaze. Amid the chaos, a child's cry pierced the smoky, a faint, desperate sound from a burning house. Clara's heart lurched. "I'm going in," she shouted, plunging into the searing heat. The world narrowed to ash and flame. She navigated collapsing beams, her mask fogging with each strained breath. There, in a corner, she found a girl, clutching a singed teddy bear, her eyes wide with terror. "Hey, I'm here," Clara said softly, kneeling. The girl's small hand gripped hers, fierce with survival instinct. Clara carried her through the inferno, her team covering their escape. Emerging into the night, Clara handed the girl to a medic as the crowd gasped in relief. But the fire wasn't done. A radio crackled. Explosion 3 blocks down. Flames at Officer Brooks' address. The irony hit like a thunderclap. Brooks' home, now a victim of the blaze he'd delayed fighting. Brooks' face paled, his arrogance crumbling. A neighbor approached, voice low. "Isn't that your place, officer?" Clara caught his stunned gaze, but turned away. There was no time for poetic justice, not when lives still hung in the balance. She rallied her team, directing hoses to contain the spreading fire. The neighborhood watched, their whispers now a chorus of outrage as a bystander's phone captured every moment, streaming it live to the world. By dawn, the fire was out, but the story was just beginning. The video of Clara's clash with Brooks went viral, with hashtags like Justice for Clara trending across platforms. The footage, her calm authority, Brooks' obstruction, the child's rescue sparked a digital firestorm. An anonymous group, the Sparks, amplified the story, demanding accountability for systemic bias. Clara, scrolling her phone during a rare break, saw the flood of support. Activists, neighbors, strangers united in fury and hope. The community stirred. Town hall meetings sprang up, drawing crowds from every corner of Baltimore. Clara stood at one, her voice steady. "I fight fires, not start them," she said. But maybe we needed this blaze to see the bigger one: bias, silence, injustice burning through our systems. The room erupted, a mix of cheers and tense murmurs. Even Brooks, shaken by his loss, attended, his silence a step toward reckoning. Detective Laura Mitchell led an investigation, unearthing ignored reports of departmental misconduct. Her findings: patterns of racism and neglect, shocked the city. At trial, Clara's testimony was a beacon. It wasn't just obstruction, she said. It was a misjudgment, rooted in bias. Witnesses, from firefighters to officers, echoed her, their stories weaving a damning tapestry of systemic flaws. Brooks took the stand, his voice raw. "I failed that night," he admitted. "My biases blinded me. We need training, empathy, change." The jury's verdict was clear. The department's actions, steeped in bias, were an abuse of power. The judge called for equitable reforms, igniting cheers outside the courthouse. Clara stepped into the sunlight, the crowd's energy electric. Workshops formed, training programs launched, and open forums bridged divides. Brooks joined, his redemption a quiet work in progress. The city buzzed with plans, from policy overhauls to community hubs, each a step toward justice. That evening, Clara sat on her porch, the city's pulse steady under a starlit sky. The trial, the fire, the movement, it was her story, but it belonged to Baltimore now. Tomorrow's town hall would cement these changes, a symphony of voices rising against prejudice. She thought of Laura's clarity, Tom's loyalty, even Brooks' faltering steps toward change. Together, they'd lit a flame that wouldn't fade. Clara whispered a vow to keep fighting, her resolve a thread in a tapestry of hope. The city glowed, its streets alive with possibility. This wasn't the end, it was a beginning, forged in fire and truth. What do you think about Clara's fight against injustice? How should we address bias and violence in our communities? Share your thoughts in the comments, take a stand, voice your perspective, and join the conversation.